Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of This Is Me with your man, Breather. This is Breathers and Wise podcast. So blessed today to have our man, YISSA, on the podcast today. I
Yo,
like to call this man the man of many, many talents. Music producer, DJ, artist, you name it in the music industry, this man's doing it. How you been, brother?
I'm good, man. I appreciate the intro, and yeah, I'm good. Like, can't say much, but I'm really good.
No, that's all good, my bro. Like, just the fact that you're here, bro. It really, I can't thank you enough for this, brother. This is such an awesome opportunity to be able to, have this podcast with you and get to interview you and get to know a little bit about you, brother.
Yeah, nah, that's awesome, man. I'm keen to, just talk with you, and probably
No,
whoever's here, they can
yeah.
take whatever they want to take and leave whatever they want to leave. But yeah, just have fun, I guess.
Oh, 100%, brother. Always, always. All right, bro. So we'll go straight into the questions, brother. So, take us back to a young Easter, bro. So where'd you grow up?
Yeah, what's up, everyone? Like my brother here, my name is YISSA. Um, I think for me, to answer the question, I grew up in Tonga. Raised up in Tonga. Everything was in Tonga, so my whole life was in Tonga. English is my second language, just in case I fresh out. So that's why English is my second language. So I've grown up in around like talented people. But at the time when I was in Tonga, it was kind of hard because back in the islands, you don't really know much of the outside world.
Hmm.
Internet just came, but back then we hardly. I think when I grew up, there was no internet at the time, and even up to the point that I'm moving to Australia, um, there was internet, but it was slow. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
development of like learning and just understanding the world outside of Tonga is pretty slow. So that's why it was kind of hard when I moved here. It was kind of hard. So, but yeah, this the young me. Grew up in Tonga all my life. Only been in Australia going for 3 years now. Yeah.
Nice, brother. Nice. Hey, just a quick. Can everyone hear us in the comments? Just somebody want to just give us a thumbs up or thumbs down? Yes, no, something. Alright, all good. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, good.
awesome, awesome. Alright, so bro, living in Tonga, so I'm guessing you had that traditional upbringing. You had those Tongan
Yeah.
values, the Tongan traditions. How important were those for you, growing up?
I think for me as like growing up in the islands, the tradition was really important because for me, like I get to learn how to respect, the people that are older than me, respect other people that are in the same industry or
Mm.
like, I think for me, like I grew up in an environment like respecting and listening, and sometimes it gets to a point like even though you're wrong, you just have to do it because he's older than
Yeah,
you. Kind of a thing. So yeah, I think, man, it's really important. Like up to the point, like like in Tonga, you have to respect your parents, respect your sisters, respect your whoever's older than you, and just yeah, the traditional stuff is like help
yeah,
me, really along the way, and just even just moving here, like it really helps me with just life in general, to survive with bare minimum or the smallest amount of things.
100%.
The funny story, like when I've only worked for someone else for about like only a year,
Yeah,
within a year. So my first year of going into work was is also my last year of working for someone. So I was working at the TV station back in Tonga, so I was doing all the camera work. So at the time, like I think in Tonga, my salary fortnightly is 180.
Wow.
So 180 fortnight, yeah. So that's normal.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
normal in Tonga. And for me, like, I get to learn how to make the 180 last for the next
Yeah.
payday. So yeah, that's like including paying bills, all the food and stuff like that. But you know, in the islands, you can survive even if you don't have money, because with us we don't really pay rent, because a majority of the people in town, they own their own land, their own house, and with our family back in Tonga, you know, they're farmers, they have crops and things like that. So all we have to pay for is the kind of food that we have to buy is just sausages, noodles,
Yeah.
you know, just tea stuff, and just pay bills and things like that. But I think like it really helps us to eat, even in the tradition of giving. You know, the more you give, the more you receive. So yeah, even though we don't have much, even, and you know, our salary was, you know, this little bit, but we've learned how to give out of, you know, what we have. So yeah,
Nice, bro.
there's something that I've learned, the tradition that I've learned, and like, you know, there's other stuff as well. But
Yeah. Nice,
Yeah.
bro. Well, like, for those of you who don't know, this podcast has been in the making for the last 3-4 weeks. So when I actually put the banner up for this podcast, I had all these Tongans coming out of the woodwork saying, "Oh yeah, that's my toko, that's my cousin." So just to set the record straight, bro. Whereabouts in Tonga are you originally from? Like, what village?
so my mum is from our house. So she's from I think it's the west side, Hihifo, and my dad, he's actually
Oh,
Fijian.
wow.
But they moved to Tonga they moved to Tonga on a mission. So I'm half Tongan, half Fijian, but I was raised up in Tonga. So they moved to Tonga. So my dad's dad, my granddad, on my dad's side, he came to Tonga for a mission and married and lived in Tonga, and, you know, raised up all his kids in Tonga, which including my dad. So pretty much everything is on their side is, you know, they raised up in Tonga, but they're Fijian as well. So yeah, so I'm half.
Wow.
So
See, bro, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
bro, is like stuff that blows me away. Because I always thought you were full-blooded Tongan. I didn't know you had a little bit of Fijian in you. So, within saying that, bro, like how in depth are you with your Fijian culture?
man, it was because my granddad, my dad's side, he passed away when my dad was 5, but he was full Fijian culture and everything like that. So my dad didn't really grow up in the Fijian culture, but they speak Fijian at their home. I think that's the only cultural thing that they've kept, is just the language, which is important because the language is a treasure regardless of where you're from. Even if you're Samoan, Tongan, Fijian, wherever you are, your language is also your identity in a way.
100%.
So yeah, so I get to always listen to my grandma speaking Fijian, and when I go to my dad's side, it's always Fijian, and when I go to my mom's side, it's always Tongan. So yeah, I understand Fijian, but I don't speak the language, but I can understand some of what they're saying, like not fully, but like I can put together what they're talking about.
100%, brother. Okay, so when we on our last topic that we were just talking about, you know, the Tongan traditions, you mentioned family, bro. So like what's the structure around your family? Do you have any siblings? Was it both mum and dad there at all times?
Yeah. So I'm fortunate enough to grow up in a home that my mum and dad always been there for us, and up to now they're still in Tonga. And so I have 2 younger sisters and 1 little brother. So the one after me is my sister. She lives in New Zealand now, and the one after that is my little brother, who lives in Sydney. And the youngest out of all of us is my little sister, where she lives out in the States. I think it is, So pretty much we were all raised up in Tonga, but on this year that I moved out of Tonga, that I moved to Brisbane, it's also the same year that everyone kind of like moving out
Yeah.
of home straight to overseas.
Wow. So like with everyone living overseas,
Yeah, it's
like
something good though.
do you guys get to catch up much, or like go back to Tonga and get to see each other much?
I haven't been to Tonga ever since moving, just because of, moving and then COVID hits and things like that. So, and plus like, I think for me, we do catch up. We catch up we have our family chat and things like that. And most of the time we talk about like, man, like, helping out our parents back in Tonga. Because, our parents, like, it's hard for them to move out of Tonga. Like, I don't know why, but they rather just live in the island. So so every little thing that they have that they do, they always like, hey, can you bring us money? I'm like, but lucky because we're $50 or $100 Australian is a lot back in Tonga. So I appreciate it. Again, I like to give when I have.
100%.
And then if I don't have, then next week.
So you mentioned that mum and dad, dad came over on a mission. So did he go over to Tonga? And leading on to that question too, were you guys, I'm guessing, LDS, Latter Day Saints?
Now, so it's my granddad. So my granddad, that they went to Tonga on a mission, and met my grandma there, and they pretty much have the kids in Tonga. So when he passed away, they just settled in Tonga. They don't want to move out of Tonga to Fiji or anything. So my dad was born in Tonga, raised up in Tonga pretty much. And so no, we're not LDS or anything like that. We originally we are Free Wesleyan Church, so it's kind of like Methodist Church. Is that how it is? How you say it? Yeah. So, but I'm not with my old church anymore. I'm with a church called Broken Church. So it's more like a Pentecostal church. Yeah.
Right, bro. And with that being said, bro, like how big does the church? I know over in Tonga, Sunday is a day of rest. It's either you're at church, you're not doing anything. So how big was the impact of church in your upbringing?
Oh man, I gotta say, like, yes, we go to church on Sunday. Growing up in Tonga, every Sunday we have to go to church. And even though you don't feel like going to church, you still have to go to church. But I think for me, like, going to church played a huge part in my life. Because even up to now, I'm Christian, to be honest, like, but no one's perfect. So for me, like, man, up to now, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for God, to be honest. If it wasn't for the values and the things that I've learned in church, I wouldn't do what I do right now if I didn't seek God first, because it says in the Bible, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then everything shall be added unto you. So I think for me, like, to be able to step out of my comfort zone, I've only been speaking English for 4 years now. Yeah, so I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if I didn't know that there's a bigger person in me, which is God. If I didn't have that, I think I wouldn't be in Brisbane. I would still be in Tonga somewhere and probably not doing anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow, bro. Hits the spot, bro. That little speech of yours just hit the spot, bro. So we're gonna touch on God a little bit more, bro, because I think we'll get it out there, bro. I tried to Google you as much as I could. I wanted as much information about YISSA as I could, bro. And bro, pretty much everything is about glory to God with you, bro. And actually, we'll touch on it now, bro. Like on your Spotify, bro. you were
Yeah.
thinking about doing gospel inspired hip hop ep. Where did all of that like
Yeah.
come from, bro?
I think for me is like the only reason why I started what I have right now. Like the only reason why I got into videography, I got into music, I got into designing, I got into this because, to be honest, like I didn't believe that I can do it, but because I kept going to church and I kept going and I just felt like, it's an experience that you only have to go through yourself to know it's it's real. I just felt like that I have a bigger calling and I have a bigger purpose in life, and and I think for me, like with me having that, and I know that for real, like I know that that's God speaking to me. And when I know that that's God speaking to me, then I know He'll provide anyways. All I have to do is just step out. If we sometimes like, we know that we're meant to do something, but it's just an idea, and we just sit there and doing nothing with it, and we're not gonna go anywhere. But if we take a step, it's always that thing. You gotta take a step. You gotta take a step. Once you take a step, you learn along the way. Yeah, you might fail, but for me, that's not fail. That's learning.
Exactly.
Once you fail, the only thing that we can get from that is that we're moving forward. We're just learning new things along the way. And I think for me, like, because ever since moving here, I run my own business, and this is my business as well. So, I think for me, like, starting all the music and things like that, I wouldn't have started if I was not in God. I think if I was, I only started it because I'm in God. If I was not in God when I moved here, I probably drinking somewhere now. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, or probably I will be deported back to Tonga. So it is like that, and I'm still working on my EP and hip hop things like that. But for me, the reason why I do music is to help others. I've come from Tonga in a way that I'm come from nothing, and like money was an issue. I don't know what to do, and all I can think about, only if I can meet someone that can do something for me, so I can do something for them. So while I have everything that I have right now, all the connections that I have right now, why not use it to for someone to to prosper? Why not use it to give ideas to someone? Like, this is something you can do. All you have to do is just encourage them, get them to do it, and then it's from there, it's for them. They'll take themselves out. Like, some people are called to do something, they just haven't met the right person and the right time and just the right environment. So I think for me, being here, being on Bigo, doing what I'm doing, it is because I'm called to do what I'm doing, but not so much of, yes, money is one of them, but it's also to help other people kickstart their career, kickstart whatever they want to do, and from there, who knows, it may be the next Michael Jackson somewhere, but at least I fulfill my part. I think that's the most. I think if I say it like this, like the most things that, like, the thing that really makes me happy, or really me seeing it as success, is seeing other success. Yeah.
Nice, brother. Well, so we're gonna dive down and sort of dissect, the name YISSA. So, from what I know, the name YISSA is short for another word in the Hebrew language. So is YISSA a stage name, or is that your actual government name? Like, where did the name YISSA come from?
So YISSA is my stage name. I used to go by DJ Sims because my first name is Simi. So back then, like, before I was fully like, this is what I'm gonna do now. A lot of people used to call me DJ Sims. I had music on YouTube, and there was always DJ Sims, and the people that knows me before Brisbane knows me as DJ Sims, and that, like, I used it to go like DJ at the clubs, DJ everywhere, and like just making music here and there. But at that time, it was just for fun. There was no purpose behind it. It's just like I know that this is what I meant to do, but it's just like I tried that, tried that, kind of like in my own strength, you know, like when you have like when God drops an idea on you, you just step out on your own without God there. So that's where, and then I come to a point like I was just sitting at church, and then all of a sudden the name YISSA or the name Issachar in the Hebrew it means like Issachar is one of the 12 tribes of Israel, and the Issachar tribe always present the time of God. It means like they always know the time of God for battle. They always know the time of God. They are the tribe that knows the time on how to do things to prosper, or you know, move in the right time of God. So I just, because that's the thing that God gave me. So I was thinking, should I go with Issachar? But I just thought, nah, this is a bit too long. But then I just researched what's a shorter name for Issachar. And then I came across the spelling of Issachar in the Hebrew. I think it starts with a YISSACHAR. So I just thought, yeah, I'll just take the first part, YISSA, because it's easier to say. Yeah, but if someone asks me, what does it mean, YISSA? What does it mean? Then that's a way for me to talk about, like, you know, my belief and like why I do what I do. Yeah.
That's so awesome, brother. So let's talk about your transition from Tonga and coming over to Australia. What did you find like very hard when you moved over? Like, I'm guessing the language would have been like trying to communicate with people was very hard. But you know, especially being on your own and having to leave your family in Tonga. Yeah, bro. So what are the struggles you face?
Yeah, man, there was a lot of struggling. At first, like, I think for me, like, first off, the struggle that I have that I don't have any family at all here in Brisbane. Like, I'm talking about blood family, relatives, or something like that. I don't have any. The only family that I have is church family, and they are the ones that helped us, helped me, you know, settle and things like that. Second of all is language, as he says. Back in Tonga at school, we teach, everything is in English, but we don't speak the language. So I kind of like understand the you know, what everyone is talking about, but it's still like broken English in a way. So I wouldn't speak as much as how I am right now with you. I would like, you know, the struggle was like, yeah, I understand what they say and I know what to say, but in my mind, I always have to translate what I'm saying in my head first before I say it. So that's why it was like, it was slow for me to reply to someone. It was slow for me to talk to someone. And even up to now, sometimes I talk about something and a lot of people don't, like, what are you talking about? Then I had to like, okay, cool, like, okay, this is what I mean, like, no. Or someone might, like, you know, if sometimes I send text message to someone and then like they receive it in a wrong way, like, you know, like they receive it as like in a different, you know, they get it, you know, the meaning of it is different to them than what I actually mean. Yeah, and man, there was a lot. Like, one of the things is like just moving here, I think, looking at food, KFC, McDonald's, there's nothing like that in Tonga, man. Like, and just looking at how cheap it is, you know, money here, there's like one thing is like, well, there's heaps of money here, like I can do so much with this money. And then, you know, driving down the road in Tonga, there was no lights or whatsoever, and there's only one lane there and one lane back. So I had to learn how to drive in 3 lanes. I had to learn how to, you know, stop in a light. What does the red light mean? What does the orange mean? I had a lot to learn, man, but I just keep pushing forward, and I know that, like, man, I just have to do this. Otherwise, you wouldn't go anywhere if you don't just step out and do it, man. You would just when everyone look at you, they'll just all they think about it, man, like you're from the island, because just the way you think. I think the most important thing for me is like whatever a man thinks in his heart or in his mind, so is he. So I always push myself to think I can overcome all the little things that I'm coming through. This is the season, it is the time to learn. It's just in life as well. Like sometimes we come through something that is hard in life and we just thought, oh man, woe is me, I'm so over this thing. But for me it's always like, okay, what can I learn from this situation? No, it's hard, but and it sometimes mentally is taking you out, but in me it's like always like there's something I gotta learn. I had to learn, and as soon as I get out of this, I'll understand why I was going through what I'm going through. But yeah.
Bro, so coming over to Australia too, bro, like did you start working as soon as you came over, or just pretty much just jump straight into the videography and the music scene?
Yeah, so the first year I got here, my church family was helping me out, and I didn't start working. But the good thing at the time, I have an IT, a diploma on IT, which is cybersecurity. So that's my job, because that's my business. That's my first business I start with here. So I just do that, and I get a little bit of money from there. So I just collect everything that I have, like, because back in Tonga, if I can live on 150 a fortnight, I'm sure I can manage with 300 or 500 bucks
exactly
a week or something like that. So that's how I kind of like, yeah, you know what, I have this vision or this idea in me that I want to get into videography and stuff like that. So I just save my money and just buy gear, like little bits and pieces, and then as soon as I have like a certain amount of gear, then yeah, cool, I can start doing this. So I just reach out to people, and reach out to some, when I reach out, sometimes people don't really care about who I am or something like that, because I was nobody back then. And then but it was good because I started reaching out to some people, and some people, oh yeah, come, we'll hang out. And once they see what I do, the work that I do, then like, oh yeah, okay, let's do this. But yeah, so the transition was all good, I guess. Like, it was hard, but it was fun at the same time. I enjoy it more now because I'm looking back at it as like, man, it's hard, but it was good.
100%, brother. So, coming into that, so were you already doing music in Tonga, or did you pretty much start your music out in Australia?
Yeah, so in Tonga, like I said, my first job was 2009, I think, or 2010, around that time. So that's my first and last job. Straight after that, I started a studio, a recording studio back in Tonga. And that's what I was been doing, like, ever since I moved. It's just recording studio. And yeah, I started the music back in Tonga. And yeah, so I was recording and everything back in Tonga. But at the time, I think also one of the reasons why I developed the speaking quite fast, because a lot of the deportees back in Tonga, they always come to the studio. And they always speak, English, even though I didn't really understand what they're saying, and they have like this American accent. But I pick up, I think it's because I listen to it more, like it kind of forms in my mind on, what does this, and that all I have to do now is just speak it. So when I moved to Brisbane, I have no choice but to speak English, because no one will understand me if I speak Tonga. So yeah, but everything started back in Tonga, like music, videos. Like I said, my first job was working at a TV station, filming for news and things like that. So yeah,
wow,
it was started back in Tonga before Brisbane.
Wow, bro. So like, this would probably be the perfect question to ask you, bro. Is, do you notice the difference between the the music you could produce in Tonga to the music you can produce now in Australia? Like, do you notice the difference?
Yes, there's a massive difference because I think for me, like being here in Australia is a massive upgrade for me in a way because there's a lot of producers here, there's a lot of musicians here, and they're not just I can play a guitar or I can play drums or I can sing. They're like actually really good, like really high standard. So I think for me, like moving here, when I was in Tonga, I made music and it was alright, but because at the same time that was just the start as well, and everyone back then was like, oh yeah, that's cool. But when I listen back to it now, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like if you only play it in Tonga. But making music now is like, there's a lot of people around me. I think there's a massive differences in between what I used to do making Tonga and the music that I used to that I'm making now, because it's there's a lot of great people here. There's a lot of good people that I'm connected with. It's as easy as like just asking them to come and like help you out on a song and something like that. And I think for me that's a massive difference, because in Tonga I used to just do everything, and sometimes it can take a toll on you, like you're like, man, like I don't know what else to do. But back in Tonga I didn't really know, there was really no one that can do music back in Tonga but apart from just singing at the cover or something like that. Yeah.
Nice, brother.
So yeah, there's a massive difference, man.
So, like, man, I could run down the list with how many people you've worked with, and all the different artists, producers. I could.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna put them all under one category because shout out to the 4am family. So working with all the 4am family, brother. Like. Before Bigo, were you actually working with them before you jumped on Bigo, or did you guys sort of connect up together because of Bigo?
Now, I work with majority of them. I worked with them before Bigo, or let's say before I even know Bigo was existed. So everything started way before that, but Bigo is also a blessing in a way that I get to meet other people in there as well, especially people that are not in Brisbane. They're in New Zealand, and I think the 4am family. I met Joe way before Bigo. I met Amu before Bigo. Before I know Bigo, I met Donny, P Wish, Dimes, and then before Bigo. Squeezy. I met Squeezy at about like 2010.
Wow.
So because I came to Brisbane for 2 weeks for 2 weeks for church thing, and I met Squeezy back then. So
Right. So one of those names you mentioned was P Wish. Your guys' song Ofahanga on YouTube, bro. 30,000 views on YouTube, bro, which is a lot. Like, how did you guys, what was the inspiration behind Ofanga? And this is what I always do, bro. I try to dissect at least one of your songs, bro. What was the inspiration, and how did you guys come up with Ofanga?
I'll talk about like how I met P Wish, because when I was before, I think just during pandemic last year, the COVID pandemic last year, I started a radio station here in Australia, in Brisbane. It's called Pacifica TV and Radio. So I started that with Julian. So we started that back then. So we used to run a Friday night live program, and so I met Donny there because as soon as I know someone is like, Donny was Tongan, so I asked him to come. Hey, can I interview you? So we interviewed him on the radio, and from there, like, I just thought, I'm gonna start like asking Donny if he can come to the studio with me. At the time, I hit the studio, but I didn't think of running the studio. Like I always hit the studio, but it was just only me doing like making beats and like just doing like scoring for like little short films here and there, or just doing edits inside my studio. But I didn't think to bring anyone in. Yeah, so, and then Donny said, yeah, whatever time we'll come to the studio. And then he came to the studio together with P Wish. So he brought P Wish in to the studio. And then they talked to me they said to me, what do you want to do? It's like, I just wanted to make music with you guys. Like, but this is like, I didn't really take it serious that they were like, it's going to be something I'm going to start doing to record with other artists as well. And then, we were sitting in the studio, and then I told him, I have a beat. So, because I know Piwush and Donny are into reggae. So I just played the song, and they said, oh man, we love this beat. Yeah, so we write the song on the day. I think Ofa'anga was, the reason why we came with the concept of Ofa'anga is just because, it's so much, it's about like us valuing the ones that we love, and it can come down to your missus. We can relate to it in different ways, but with P Wish and Donny, they directed into your the one you love. Ofanga means your loved one. So yeah. So we just started with that. So the beat was originally different.
Oh wow!
Originally it was different. Yeah, it was a same kind of vibe, but everything was different. So when they wrote the song, and then we record majority of the song on the day, and then I send them home with the beat and what we record, and then on the next week, same day, the next week they came and said, you reckon we can change up the beat? I said, oh yeah, August. Because I'm always open to changes, and I'm always open for other people, to make things better. I'm always open. Sometimes I disagree with something, but majority of the time, I try and make it work. So yeah, we changed the whole beat, and then we asked Joe Malafu to come and do the drums. We asked Poji's also on Beagle George to do the keys, and we asked Colin, the bass player, to come and do the bass, and then Squeezy to do the guitar.
Wow.
So after that, and I thought, man, this is fun. Like, I want to start doing this now. Yeah, and we just shoot the music video. So Ofa'anga was P Wish's first time shooting a music video. So yeah, man, if you guys were there in the process, man, like, I know for Wish Matoko, it was a big thing for him, because he hasn't been, like, a lot of people knows his music, but they don't really know what P was like. They haven't seen P was or seen him in a music video. So this Ofanga was like the first one that we did, that P was did a song for, and I'm always, for me it's like, it's a blessing, and I'm always proud of them, just stepping out of their comfort zone, and now, like, they're proud of who they are as well. I think for me that's the one thing, this is pretty much why I run the studio, is to make people be proud of who they are, of their identity, of what they do. It might not seem much to others, but for me, like, little achievements from people is actually makes me happy.
100%, brother. But like, listening to this, so now, just from this podcast, I know you've run a radio station, you worked in TV, but there's all this new stuff coming onto you. I already thought you were a master of everything in the music industry. But out of all of that, brother, like, doing the DJ, the music producing, the videography, what's the main hat that you prefer to wear? Like, which one are you happy to do all the time?
I think for me is IT. Yeah. So doing all the, algorithm things, the IT stuff. I think for me, it's because that's where I started. Like that's how I started, and for me, that's how I discover the programs to make beats. It's because I'm IT. Like I'm always like, people bring their laptop and I'll fix it, and they say, oh, I want to fix it because I have this program that you can record songs in. Like I like making music, but then like, oh yeah, I'll look what the program is about. So then like, I fix their laptop and I ask them, where'd you get the program from? And they just give it to me. Back in Tonga, there was no such thing as copyright or privacy or whatever. You can just get a song from anyone and just give you a program. You don't get, So yeah, I think IT is my first thing. It's the first thing that, that's the main hat that I'm wearing. And then, because that's pretty much how I discover everything. It's just because of the technology side of it. Videos, softwares, music. Yeah.
Nice, brother. But so most people will see, like, they'll watch the video clip, but they don't see the behind the scenes. But with the new introduction of social media such as Instagram, Facebook, Bigo now, bro. It allows you to take that journey on a trip behind the music videos, bro. So I watched one of your ones last week when you guys were, I think it was Sandbox for Amu. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So, like, how important is social media for you, and how, like, I'm guessing back in Tonga, social media would have been so different for you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, man, like social media is really important. Like, when we were in Tonga, it was Bebo.
Yeah.
Is it Bebo? Bebo? So we used to go like to the internet cafe and just Bebo, and MSN at the time. So yeah, so I think social media for an artist or for me personally is a great way to showcase what you can do or your business, because a lot of people, let's say like I use my social media as a portfolio, online portfolio. Like for example, if I go to someone and tell them, hey, this is what I do, A, B, C, and D, they might not want to like, oh yeah, this guy's just talking. But then you just show them what you do and the people that you work with, your social media. And then from there, there's like, oh, okay, like, this is that. I think for me is a great way to connect with people first and communicate with people. And also, if you're an artist or like, if you have a business or something like that, I use social media as a way to save all my work as a portfolio to present to someone. So that's how I treat my social media. Is like I use it to as a portfolio. Is a where some people have a website and they go there and this is all the things, who I am, what I do, and things like that. I use social media, Instagram, because not all generations now will go search you up on YouTube, or on a website. They'll first go to Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. Those are the three things people go to most, and then from there to website, things like that. But yeah,
nice.
So I still need to do like more behind the scenes stuff, but at the moment, slowly.
Nice, brother. So, but Bigo, this is how I got to meet you guys. This is how I got to interact with the 4am family, and this is like the same old question that you hear every PK, every multi. But how long have you been on Bigo for?
3 months now, going into my 3 months. So it's been a good. I think Bigo is good because you can talk to people and connect with people. It's like what you're saying, man. Like some people I don't connect with in social media. Some people I don't connect with in Facebook, but I connect with them here. It's just because you can just jump into someone's live randomly and just
Yeah.
talk to them, and all of a sudden you kind of like, oh hey, that's Thing from Bigo, that's that from
Yeah,
Bigo. And when you meet them, like, you know them from Bigo, because you don't know them how you know them in Instagram. Instagram is just, you
Yeah.
see photos, they don't talk back to you, you don't have a conversation with them, with you as a random person. So
Nice,
yeah.
brother. And like, how did you get onto Bigo? Did someone mention it to you?
Yeah. So I know about Bigo because of P Wish
Yeah.
and Donny. Yeah. So P Wish was already on
Mm.
Bigo. So they told me about Bigo, and I said, oh yeah, I'll go check it out. So I was on Bigo not way before, but probably 3 months before 4 a.m.
Yeah.
started. Yeah, so so I was on Bigo, but I was never like, I didn't really understand what Bigo is
Yeah.
about. I didn't really understand what to do with Bigo. So I had the app, but only to scroll through and see who's online, who I know online, just to chat
Yeah.
with them. And that's about it. But I didn't, it's not until Joe, because I'm doing like a video with Joe, like at the time, every Monday.
Yeah.
So I'm filming his drum cover every
Yeah.
Monday. And Joe was talking to me about Bigo. So the time Joe was talking to me about Bigo, starting the 4am family and being in the agency and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I have Bigo and I know about Bigo, but I don't know anything about hosting or anything like that. So yeah, Joe was just telling me, nah, don't worry, like, you'll be alright. Like, we'll start the family, and then all you have to do is just send us a simple audition, and then we'll go from there. And I said, oh yeah, sweet, I'll jump in. And yeah, so as soon as I jump on the Bigo, or from the hosting, like from being in 4 a.m., it's only about the 3 months is this month.
No.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the 3rd month. So yeah, that's how I heard about Bigo.
Nice, brother. And like, bro, the 4 a.m. family, bro, is stacked with talent. Plenty of talent in that 4 a.m. family, bro. But you guys, like, you personally, what attracted you most about joining this 4 a.m. family?
I think for me, the thing that really attracts me most about 4 a.m. is as a family, because yes, we're family on Bigo, but we are also family outside of Bigo. I think that's the most important thing, and everyone is just supportive of each other, and like if Bandit, so Bandit, like, I met him at Bigo, and like I support him with what he do, like, just by sharing.
Yeah.
And like, sometimes we see supporters, like, sometimes it's just like, oh, we had to go to all their gigs and things like that, but it's just sharing their business online, on their Instagram and stuff like that. And yeah, so Zion, them, man, they're great people, man. Like, I think these are people that I would say, like, most of them are better than me in music, and sometimes better than me in what I do, which I want, because I want someone to to ask question about. Sometimes, like, music is one part, but the business side of music is a different part, which is the hardest part.
100%.
And these guys, man, they've been in the game for a long time, especially in music for a long time, man. And I'm still learning. And the 4am family is, everyone's willing to help everyone's success in what they do. Yeah,
Bro. Like, and bro, that.
yeah. But this is
Oh, you go, bro. Go on.
no. You go. I'm done.
So, bro, like you were saying, bro, it's like a family, and bro, that actually spoke volumes. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I was watching your Instagram, and you had the whole 4 a.m. family bouncing around to all the MCs, my team, and like just vibing, brother. Like, I reckon, that's a perfect example of that tightness and that that brotherhood. Having that song play over while the whole 4 a.m. are bouncing around, bro. So who actually came up with that idea?
which one you talking
The
about?
one where all of the 4am are standing. Was it? No, it wasn't a 6 Degree studio.
Oh yeah, I think it was a
Yeah,
Beagle Live.
yeah,
We had a live house. Yeah, yeah. I think it was just everyone. Joe and them was there, so everyone was here, and Amu was like doing the last. He was the last act of the live
yeah,
house, so everyone was saying just because we were all hyped up and like, oh man, like this is our first time doing it online, and we're pretty happy
yeah.
about it. So everyone was like, just jump in and just sing and just vibe. So yeah, everyone just jump in and being who they are, which is pretty fun.
It looked awesome.
Yeah, it was me. Like everyone just jump in, and someone was playing drums, and then like everyone was saying, "Cut the drums, it doesn't go the beat." But it was all fun. Like it was pretty cool. Yeah.
But so like, this is gonna be my very very last question, and I think we've talked about the 4am family and everything else, but like, I really want to know what 2021, the whole pandemic that we had last year, but what's your plans for 2021 and leading into the future?
Yo, I think. Hey, what's up, Joe? Shout out to Joe.
Just talking about you,
found
bro.
out 4am. Let's go. Man, the plan for 2021. I think the plan for 2021 for me is to keep learning. I think, and just to keep connecting. And I think for me is just get to know all my 4am family, not just in Bigo, but outside of Bigo, and help them out. Like if they need help, if they need anything from me, and I think So one of the things is just grow my business in a way that I can be able to employ other people. Thanks, Joe.
100%.
So that's one of my main goal for the future is to grow my business to a point that I can, I can get someone that I know. Like they might not have the qualifications and stuff like that, but there might be some people out there they're very talented. They don't, I want to give opportunities to people. That's what I'm trying to do in the future with my business, and just help people along the way. And like sometimes I might not be able to help everyone, but 1 or 2 or 3 people that I can help is a message change, because you help them and they go help other people, and just it keeps growing like that.
100%.
So
100%, brother. And bro, all of this new information that I got, bro, I gotta ask you, bro, will you come back on the podcast? Because I feel like I can talk to you all day, bro. Like, there's so much I'm learning about you that I want to ask more questions about, but I know I'm on a time frame, bro. Like, bro, there's so much I'm learning about you, and I really want to thank you for that, bro.
Nah, no worries, man. But yeah, man, like just let me know, man. I'm keen to talk, and like at the end of the day, whoever's out there, please understand that we're here to help. And if you want us to be on the podcast, please share the flyers when it comes out. Nah, but I'm keen to help, man. I'm keen to help what you do as well, and just it might be someone else out there that also wants to hear what we're talking about and what other people might be talking about. But I'm always keen, man. I'm always keen to jump on board, and I'll make time.
I appreciate that so much. So, bro, how we finish the show, bro, is we do a little rapid fire question, bro. So this is just, don't even think about it, just answer. So I'll hit you with some questions, bro, and we're gonna get to know YISSA. So, alright, bro. First question: Lu Sipi or Lu Hosi?
Oh, Lu Sipi all day, man. I haven't had Lu Hosi, but I can eat a Hosi without the Lu in it.
Are we going All Blacks or are we going Wallabies?
But always Wallabies for me when I grow up.
Okay, that's it, guys. Cut it. Yeah, that's it.
Bro, you were in Australia, so we have to be Wallabies.
No. So, are you one to go to KFC on a date, or are we going to like a romantic dinner?
Oh, romantic dinner. If I go to KFC, then I'll be like, that's the first and the last thing.
Oh. Alright, so making music or doing videography?
Oosh, that's a hard one. I would go with videography.
And then the very, very last one, bro. So, if you had $10 to your name, what are you spending that last $10 on?
If I had $10 in my name, I would invest it in something that may make more money.
Bro, that is the best answer. I'm glad everyone from the 4 a.m. have said that. Every other person I had on the podcast is like, I'll probably buy KFC. At least the 4 a.m.'s thinking. Alright, and what I like to do...
I appreciate it, man.
I stole this idea from YKTR and the 257 boys. It's called Being Grateful. So, bro, what are you grateful for?
I think for me, what I'm being grateful for is life. You know, waking up in the morning, having, being able to breathe. That's what I'm grateful for. Like, yes, I'm grateful for the people around me, people around but the most important thing for me is God giving us life. Because without that, we wouldn't be here. So yeah, I'm grateful for the life that God has given us.
100%, brother. And just for everyone out there, so where can we find you? What's your at on what social medias are you on?
Yeah, so I'm on, you can just follow me on Bigo if you're here. Instagram, just YISSA .official. Facebook, same thing. YouTube, just YISSA. You find me on YISSA, and then I have things coming up in the future, but I'll leave that for our next podcast.
We gotta say something good for the next one. Hey, but I appreciate that so much, Toko. I appreciate you taking the time out to come out and have a chat with us. This video will be up on YouTube, bro, so as soon as it's up on YouTube, I'll let you know. Big shout out to all the sponsors. I would mention you, but I'm getting the wrap it up sign from my from my person over there. But yeah, so like I said, Toko, thank you so much for coming on, bro. Can't wait to have another chat with you on another day, bro. And I hope you have a blessed night, brother. And I can't wait to see what you come up with next, bro.
Nah, thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everyone that comes along. Much offers to everyone. Thank you.
Shot, brother. Shot, Joe. All right. Thank you, brother.
See you, brothers.